Welcome to the Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva, and today we're going to get some insight into collegiate football and other sports at the college level. My guest today is the commissioner of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and his name is Anthony Holloman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so usually I start my guests where they went to college. So where'd you go to school?
I went to college at Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte, North Carolina as an undergrad. Continued my graduate studies at the United States Sports Academy, then on to the University of Pennsylvania, and finally Gwyneth Mercy University.
Wow. So let's just go back in time before we get into commissioner of the conference. In high school, when did it all begin for you for going to college? Was it freshman year of high school, senior year? When did it all start for you?
So I grew up on a farm. And so if you didn't want to stay on the farm, you needed to be good at some extracurricular activities in your schoolwork. And so I focused hard to get off the farm. And so I was a pretty good athlete in high school, and that led me to Johnson C. Smith on a football scholarship.
Ah, fantastic. So now you go to school. What's the school like? Could you tell us, the atmosphere, the football team? Tell us what your college career was like.
So it was a great experience for me coming from a small town, going to Charlotte, which was becoming a major city. That was the first year of the Charlotte Hornets. Oh. So, going to a private school, you go to school with people from all around the country. So you get this experience of meeting new people, learning new things, and sharing your sensibilities with them. And so football-wise made it even better for me because I was able to compete early on. So my first year, I made Black College All-American as a punt returner. We played Shannon Sharp at Savannah State that year.
Wow.
Robert Massey, who played 10 years in the NFL at North Carolina Central. So we had a lot of great, players in our league. And so it was a great experience for me, and one that I cherish today.
Wow. So now you graduate from college and all the different degrees that you have. How does one go from that to becoming the commissioner of the conference?
Luck. So, I started out as a financial planner for the Lincoln Financial Group. I love to interact with people. And so that profession was one that was great for me. I was doing well. I learned about all of the vehicles that you use for estate planning and wealth management, but something was missing. And I decided that, my passion was, teaching and coaching. So I got my first teaching job at Parkwood High School in Monroe, North Carolina, a small school outside of Charlotte. I was a ninth grade English teacher. And so I coached football, basketball, and track. And, I wanted to push myself to get to the next level as a head coach. So I moved from that school into West Meck in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then ultimately Independence, which is a national power. And so from there, I realized that, you don't just get to a head coaching job. There's a lot of work in between.
Sure.
And so I decided that I needed to make money because my family was growing. And so I left higher secondary to go to higher ed. And so my first job was at my alma mater as director of alumni affairs. And so that was like the springboard to everything from there, because once I got to Johnson C. Smith, worked with a man named Gerald Washington who saw something in me.
Wow.
And so once he got a new position at North Carolina A&T, I went with him. He got another position at Tennessee State, and I went with him. So I was progressing in my career. Well, all the time that I'm doing this, I'm actually having a lot of opportunity to work with the athletic departments at those schools because I'm raising money. And so that's how my career started. I've been vice president for institutional advancement at 5 HBCUs, Jackson State, South Carolina State, Stillman College, Fort Valley, Wiley. And in those positions, I had an opportunity to serve as an athletic director at Tuskegee. When I was at Tuskegee, they have one of the richest traditions in Division II. And so to get to serve as athletic director there, that gave me the experience, got my feet wet. Then when I went to Fort Valley, the president was going to make a change in the athletic department. And so he asked me for, on an interim basis, would I take over the athletic department in addition to my other responsibilities.
Wow.
And so that became a passion. So 5 years later, I was a full-time AD, full-time vice president for advancement, and executive director of the foundation. The commissioner from the SIAC retired, and I went through the search process, and because of my combined experiences, I was a successful candidate. And so it's been great.
So now, how long you been there, and what
I've
do you
been-
actually do there?
I've been the commissioner of the SIAC for 2.5 years. In that role, I'm responsible for 15 institutions over a 7-state footprint that play 14 sports. So we make all of the schedules. We are responsible for compliance with the NCAA. We also market the university and drive revenue. So we've been successful in negotiating media rights deals. So the SIAC is the only Division II conference with a contract with ESPN for football.
Wow.
And then we also do our basketball tournament, our championship with ESPN. And then we also do a secondary agreement with Allen Media Group. So we have great exposure for our schools, and we're generating revenue.
So now you said there's 14 sports at the colleges.
Yes.
So what are some of the non-revenue sports that
So
you do?
one of the things that we've done, and I'm so proud of this, my predecessor, dreamed this up. We are the only HBCU conference in the country that plays men's volleyball.
Wow.
Now, men's volleyball is the second fastest growing sport in the country for boys. And so there's a great interest in volleyball. We were able to partner with USA Volleyball and the First Point Volleyball Foundation to get a grant for $1 million to seed the programs at 6 schools. The schools that participated: Central State, Kentucky State, Fort Valley State, Benedict, Morehouse, and Edward Waters University.
Wow.
This past year, Fort Valley won the conference tournament and got the AQ to the NCAA championship, where they faced off with UCLA, who eventually won the national championship. But that was a huge experience for our student athletes to be able to travel to Long Beach, California, and play in that national tournament. And so that's a unique non-revenue sport that's being played in the SIAC.
Wow.
This will be our first year sponsoring indoor track. So we'll have an indoor track championship in Louisville, Kentucky, February 20th and 21st and 22nd at the Norton Healthcare Sports and Learning Center, which is one of the fastest indoor tracks in the country.
Holy cow. So a lot of growing sports that you're
Absolutely.
building at the schools.
Yes.
Now, so you deal with each one of these schools. You said 15 in the conference.
Yes.
Are you helping them with, do they do all the type of fundraising and things like that, or is it coming from you where the conference is developing the fundraising for them?
It's a combination. Most institutions have their private foundations that they work through to raise money for their athletic programs, but we do revenue sharing with them because they get money off the media rights deals and other deals that we negotiate for them. But at the Division II level, you're not giving full scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to generate money because you have the NIL, collectives now, and so you want to be competitive in keeping your student athletes.
Yeah. Now, how about students going there? Colleges these days are expensive.
Absolutely.
Division II for football and basketball, some give scholarships, some don't.
Right.
Do all the sports give scholarships? Are there?
All the sports give some form of grant and aid. So football, you can give 36 at full scholarships at the D2 level. Your basketball programs can give 10 scholarships and so on and so forth with your other non-revenue sports. But what are you doing is you're trying to package your student athletes to help them not have so much debt when they leave college.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a responsibility that we have and that we work tirelessly to kind of close the gap.
Yeah, so each one of the schools works on that individually with them?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and what type of students are going to the schools? Do they all have to be like A-straight students and great in their sport?
You know what? Most of our institutions have pretty rigorous academic, standards. So you're going to get a good quality student, and if you can get a good student and a good athlete, you win. But we believe in life in the balance. That you come to college to be a student first, and playing athletics is a privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're coming to the end of our show, and usually I ask my guests, what advice do you want to give to the parents and the students that are watching this? What advice do you want to give them?
Preparation. You need to prepare. You need to have a plan when you look at, what your college life might look like. Students have to give a great amount of thought to what is it that they are interested in doing, not necessarily what will make you the most money, but what you want to do. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What are you willing to study hard to be? And if you study hard, you'll be successful in any profession you choose. And so I always encourage students to put the first thing first.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've been watching The Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva. Until next time.